Today, I'm on Cobble Hill, a neighborhood full of old world charm. Once a modest outpost near the old port and ford, traces of its past remain, if you know where to look. From its humble beginnings with the working men's cottages of Warren Place Mews, to the stately brownstones of today, Cobble Hill stands as one of New York's most prestigious addresses. Perhaps this garden once worked for the previous homeowner. But for my client, it was a non-starter. There was nothing to salvage, just a blank slate. On my first visit to the client's home, I was immediately struck by the design. Refined, deliberate, unmistakably professional. Sure enough, the interior was created by Little Miracles Designsmodern, a name well known in New York design circles and far beyond. Every garden begins as a conversation with the site, and sometimes with the home itself. My first impression was the bold curve of the custom rug inside the house. That line kept resurfacing in my drawings, first as an oval, calm and centered, then as a fluid, meandering path, like water flowing softly through the space. Later as a strong circle, graphic and deliberate, almost architectural. And even in the crisp, geometric version, I could see what was missing. That gentle curve still wanted to return. In the final plan, it does, reappearing in a curve of the bench, a quiet echo of that original line. By the time we begin, it's winter, but the show must go on. And by spring, the garden reveals itself. There's a quiet thrill in seeing something that began fully formed in your mind take shape in the real world. And what was once raw structure is now a finished space, calm, ordered, and precise. The design translated exactly as intended, every element finding its place. Once disconnected from the house, it now feels inseparable. The staircase needed the most attention. Too small to entertain, not quite inviting as a garden, it sat between purposes. Just beyond the large expanse of glass doors, it deserved more. A full demolition wasn't the answer, so I decided to work with what was there. A comfortable dining space usually needs 10 feet. I had 8. So I built seating directly into the steps, and I added a bench opposite the table to make every inch count. A small platform behind the backrest serves as staging area for seasonal displays. Bulbs in spring, annuals in summer, and winter decorations through the holidays. It brings a focused splash of color close to the house, allowing the rest of the garden to remain calm and tranquil. Now the staircase makes sense. It establishes a strong axis leading the eye toward the back of the garden. Along the way, subtle features slow the journey. A quiet nook with a bench to pause and reflect. A paper-barked maple stands just ahead, softening the view beyond ever so slightly. Today's gardens have to do more. Gone are the days, a few hostas and ferns in a corner, and folding chairs, pretending to be furniture. Clients now want spaces that soothe, gardens that draw you in, and areas together, true extensions of the home. That's why a kitchen can't just be a grill in a corner. My kitchen design always begins with a trip to Alchemy Materials, my go-to tile showroom in a Flatiron design district. They carry a bespoke line inspired by Gio Ponti, Italy's most celebrated architect of the 20th century. His tile work for the Amalfi Coast hotels is world-renowned and continues to inspire designers decades later. The selection is vast, but with professional guidance, my clients quickly narrow their choices. From here, it's about finding a palette that complements the rich tones of Ipe wood, clear cedar, and lush verdant foliage. At Alchemy, I pick up a neat trick. They display tiles inside a mirror box to create a reflective illusion. I know instantly I'll work that idea into my design. The centerpiece here is the tile wall. I recessed it a few inches for depth and framed it with mirrors on 3 sides. A subtle detail that gives the wall an infinite floating edge. For evening gatherings, I added gallery-style lighting. Small holes are drilled into the mirror for warm LEDs, about the size of a nickel. Invisible by day, glowing by night. The split-level countertop follows the line of the staircase. The raised section conceals storage while keeping the workspace comfortable and within reach. Grills rarely feel artful, but this one does. The Legacy by Fire Magic hides its controls on the side for clean profile, dropping neatly into the Caesar stone surface. As grills go, this one as refined as they come. From the beginning, I wanted to break this boxy garden into several spaces. A quiet spot to sit with a morning coffee, perennials greeting you with a gentle sway in the breeze. As the shape of the flower bed flows from one space to the next, there's a deliberate interruption. A small flower bed breaks the line. As the tree matures, it will fill out. It will introduce a hint of mystery and quiet sense of surprise. What's behind? Hide and reveal, an old trick in garden design. Perhaps no space is more often overlooked than the one beneath the bench. Not in this garden. I planted good old spider plant below. Reliable, familiar, but with variegated foliage that lights up the dark space underneath. And to add another layer of surprise, the benches are pre-wired with LED strip lighting. At night, those plants take center stage. The crescendo of this garden design is, of course, the welcoming lounge space in the upper section of the garden. It is designed to comfortably hold an intimate evening with a family or a larger gathering of friends. The core bench has a gentle recline to the backrest, and the seat is slightly lowered for a more relaxed lounge-like feel. I added end tables at either end of the bench for easy and comfortable use of the space. Power was also extended, and there are outlets should the client need to plug anything in. I wanted the lounge area to feel distinct from the rest of the garden, so I changed the orientation of clear cedar fence to create that separation. What really holds this composition together is the pergola. Using an I-beam for the roof frame adds both lightness and visual strength to the structure at the same time. It's a frame, a suggestion of a roof overhead, offering a quiet sense of security and enclosure. Ipe wood rafters paired with irregular, almost random purlins create a soft, diffuse pattern above while providing a touch of privacy from neighboring buildings. Local native bluestone in thermal finish was a natural choice for this Cobble Hill garden, given its historic roots. It simply feels like it belongs here. When it came to outdoor furniture, room and board felt like a natural choice. Weatherproof, well-priced, and perfectly in tune with the garden style. And at last, we come to the garden itself. Large by city standards, yet still a modest space. When it came to selecting plants, that didn't make things any easier. Over a lifetime, you build a list of plants you can't live without. And that list just keeps growing. The mood here is gentle, soft, woodland. I chose Himalayan birch for their luminous white trunks, a quiet metaphor for the woodland itself. Beneath them, I planted Gilenia, digitalis, and Anemone sylvestris to form a light natural understory. Toward the sunnier edges, Nepeta, Stachys, and Nicella keep the borders alive with motion. Directly behind the woodland border, a collection of pots adds a lighter touch. This year's theme is pink, running the full spectrum, from the palest New Guinea impatient to the deepest violet of Tradescantia pallida and the rich plums of Coleus. As an experiment, I let the passion flower tumble down the staircase, gently softening the edges of the bench and the steps. There's also a pot of aromatic herbs, a small nod to the kitchen. A continuous border runs almost the full length of the garden, from the edge of the bench to the base of the staircase. As the light shifts along the path, the planting changes with it. Only way to be sure you're talking about the same plant is to use its botanical name, not its common name, which can get confusing. But I never want anyone to feel like they need a degree in horticulture to enjoy the garden. So I made a set of metal plant labels. It's my way of helping people get to know their garden a little better. Name by name, leaf by leaf, flower by flower. Nosce lingum Latinum tuum. Know your Latin. I've truly enjoyed creating this garden, and I hope you've enjoyed the journey through it. If a new garden is in your future, I'll be glad to be part of it. And my favorite compliment came at the very end. The two living room chairs that once faced away from the windows have turned. They're now facing the garden.